Welcome back, beautiful people, to Thrive. Today we got a phenomenal workout for you. Boxing and dumbbell workout number 1. Phenomenal workout for you. Okay, so right out the gate, you know how we do. First, with the warm-up, let me give you a quick breakdown. We're going to shadow box. We're going to do this 2 times. First, shadow box 1 minute. Flutter kicks, 20 reps. Step back lunge, alternating plank, and then repeat. We're going to do this 2 times, 2 rounds, okay? Starting with a 1 minute shadow box, right? So this is a great way to get warmed up. If I'm gonna hit the bag, we're gonna get busy. We got a shadow box. Shadow box is a phenomenal way, not only to get warmed up, but to get you on your P's and Q's, get you on your toes, and for you to check your own form, check in with your body. Let's go. Boom, so you peep me right here. You know, I'm throwing the hands, you know, I'm doing my thing, keeping the hands up. So now, even though this is a boxing workout, you'll notice I'm doing lower and upper. I'm throwing some knees. You'll probably see me throw some kicks, boom, because I'm trying to get my entire body warmed up, all right? So even though this is a boxing warm-up, I'm doing lower and upper, right? Hands and feet. Why? Because I want all that warmed up. Because I'm going to be moving and grooving in a second, and you're going to be moving and grooving with me. Okay, let's go. Boom, boom. So whatever movement you're doing, make sure you keep your hands up. Right, you can throw some kicks if you want, but peep your technique, right? Peep your stance, right? Take this seriously. Even if you're not a fighter, you may not be a cage fighter, you may not be a ring fighter, you know, you may not be a boxer, kickboxer, but you want to have proper technique, right? You want to be able to throw some hands if you ever need to. You know, people get crazy sometimes. I've seen it. People out in the streets, they be wilding these days, okay? So make sure your shadow box is on point. Okay, up next, hit him with the flutter kicks. Okay, 20 reps of the flutter kicks. Boom. So we're gonna go on our back, ka-chow. Okay, hands underneath the hips, right? Support the spine. Boom. So we're going horizontal flutter kicks, counting every other rep, guys. All right. So here, you don't have to have your head up. I just like to have my head up for a couple reasons. Number one, I like to be able to see my feet. I'm not sure why on that one. It's more of a kind of a personal preference. But also, if you keep your head up, that's additional core contraction in the upper part of your core, right? The upper part of your abdomen, your rectus abdominis. Okay. So now in this position, I have contraction on my lower abdominis and my rectus abdominis. Also on my lower and upper, I should say. Also, I'm working the inner thigh as I do this motion, right? Not a whole lot of work, nothing crazy, because again, this is a warm-up, but my body is feeling it, okay? Keeping the hands underneath the hips, just below the spine here, kind of near the tailbone, helps you protect your spine from any unnecessary aches and pains. Up next, real basic, step back lunge, all right? So on the step back lunge part, all I want you to do is just, boom, try to hit a 90-degree angle at the front kneecap and the back kneecap on the bottom position, right? So you peep the technique as you see me stepping back. You'll see I'm hitting a 90-degree angle, more or less, pretty close, right? On the back kneecap and on the front knee, right? Just behind the knee, of course, right? Both sides, right? When I hit the lower position. And of course, we're alternating. Of course, when I hit the step back, I'm on the balls of my feet. Now, I know some people, you can't be on the balls of your feet, you can't be on your toes. Feel free to make modifications. Maybe you might need an extra kind of a device. Maybe you can't bend the back knee as far. You know, all that is okay. That's perfectly fine. Upright posture is important too. I notice some people, when they step back lunge, they lean forward for some reason. Gotta have upright posture. There's almost no exercise or no movement where you don't want to have Superman, Superwoman posture, right? So just keep that in mind as you're going through the motions. Boom. Okay. Up next, plank up down. So this is great. This is one of my favorite. Okay. So now, boom, transition. Back down to the floor, up, down, starting on the form. So plank position, I'm going to go up on the left and then down on the left. Go up on the right, down on the right. Maintaining more or less a flat back, right? On my toes, flat back, feet a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. Now in this position, you might have noticed, boom, I put my feet a little further. In this position, if you want to make it harder, you put your feet more narrow, right? When you have less surface area, a smaller base, it makes building up, which is essential what this workout is about, kind of building yourself back up and then coming down. It makes building up harder, and it makes maintaining that structure harder. If you put your feet wider, it makes it a little easier. Now, I just want to give you that tip, because either way is fine with me. It's just up to you to know, right? It's a simple way you can make the workout a little easier or a little more accessible. Now, you now notice, this is not even push-ups. I think this is harder than push-ups, actually. I think up-down is harder and therefore more viable than basic push-ups. But that's one of the reasons why I like it. All right, so boom. We're done with that one. Everything's 20 reps except for the shadow box. We get a 1 minute break. Grab some water. That 1 minute actually should probably be 30 seconds. There we go. Half-minute water break, okay? Because you don't really need a full minute, right? Most likely you just need a half a minute. Water break, quick sip, and we're back at it. Round 2, right? So we're hitting this all again. Once again, hitting up the shadow box. Find some space. Right, put your things down, get your rhythm together. Boom, on your toes, ka-chow, pop, pop. Boom, movement. Yeah, smooth, okay? imagine your shadow boxing be smooth. It doesn't have to be hard. But I will say this. The second round of shadow boxing, I recommend you pick up the pace. Boom. Second round of shadow boxing, I do recommend you pick up the pace if possible. Yeah, it doesn't have to be crazy. You don't have to be wilding out. But I do recommend you pick up the pace, right? Pick up the difficulty and just have your body make more movements, right? Whether that's step pivot like you saw me do right there, whether that's shifting, boom, right, on your toes, faster punches, right, more faster kicks, more rapid combinations, because we're going to get into a hardcore, pretty heavy workout, okay? As a matter of fact, most of the Thrive workouts are pretty, what I would consider hardcore. And by hardcore, I mean, like, we're getting after it. We're not dilly-dallying. Even what would be considered here a basic workout in the Thrive community is for some people a full workout. That's no joke, all right? So we want to be warmed up properly so we can get after it. So your body and your mind feel prepared, feel ready. Boom. And so you're ready to have some fun. All right, so back. Again, this is the second round. Back to them flutter kicks, baby. Boom. Okay, so now this time we're going to go vertical. Just to switch it up a little bit. But everything else is the same. Counting every other rep on my back, right? My feet. I'm looking at my feet. My head is up because I like that additional contraction. My hands are underneath my spine, near my tailbone, so I can protect my spine, so I don't have to worry too much about the spine kind of giving out or developing kind of an unnecessary lower back pain as I complete this exercise. All right, so here, just boom, flutter kicks and breathing. Notice also I'm keeping my legs relatively straight. I know sometimes people do this movement and they're kind of kicking kind of at the knees, almost like they're swimming but on their back. That's not how you're supposed to do this. Keep your legs long, right? Because it makes it a little more challenging on the core. Right? If you bend your legs, you kind of take away the point of this particular exercise. So keep your legs straight. Here we go. Getting toward the end. Boom. Let's go. Yes. Up next, back to our step back lunge. Now, once again, on the step back lunge, we're trying to hit a 90-degree angle on the kneecap, right? At the bottom position on both the front and the lead leg. Now, when I come driving back up to a standing position, I should also mention this. When you come back up to a standing position, you shouldn't be pushing off the back leg. You should be relying on the front leg to drive you back to a standing position. Let me say that again. When you step back lunge, you should not be pushing off the back leg. You should be relying on the front leg to drive you back to a standing position, because we're trying to work the quads, guys. You get a little bit of glute action, maybe a little bit of calves, but you should be trying to work the quad, right? And we do that by relying on the front leg to drive us back to a standing position. Nice tall posture. Boom. Just took a little mini step there to get better into the frame. Boom, right? I like to do kind of like runner's arms. Just another way to keep balance. And up next, plank up downs. Ka-chow. Alright, so one more time on the up downs, right? So this is we're only doing 2 rounds of warm up, right? We want to make sure that you don't exhaust ourselves with a warm up. We don't have nothing for the workout. Boom, plank up downs, right? Our personal favorites. That's why I saved it for last. Boom, get it. So I do up on the right, down on the right, then up on the left, down on the left, vice versa. Now there's a few different ways or rhythms that you can use to hit this workout, but this is the one that I like the best because it's easy to track, right? So watch again. You're gonna see me go right, boom, boom, and then you're gonna see me go right, 2 pause, down on the left, and then up on the left, pow, and then oh, I was supposed to go. Yep, I think I messed up. Down on the right. There we go. Up on the right. Yep. I kind of screwed it up. That's okay. I'm going back and forth. I must be getting a little bit tired already, or maybe I'm not really counting. I'm just kind of out of it, right? But ideally, it's supposed to be down on the right, up on the right, down on the left, up on the left, like that. Okay. But now, if you want to do a different rhythm, that's perfectly fine. Just try to make it even. That's my point, right? Try to make it so that both sides are working pretty evenly. All right. Now, 30 to 60 second water break, and during this break, boom, take a minute, get a swig of water. Hopefully, you have some water nearby, or some Gatorade, or some I don't know, beet juice, something. Okay, so that's the end of the warm up. Now it's time to get to the boxing round. Get your wraps on, get your gloves on. Okay. Pump your music up. Quick rundown, okay? So I'm going to give you it while we go. We're going to start it with the jab head cross body and a double jab cross. Okay, jab head cross body, double jab cross. The rest of it I'm going to give you as we get through the session, right? I just did this because sometimes I notice some people like the information up front, but I also going to give it to you where we're going. So boom, we're on the back. Boom, let's get it. Combo 1A. Okay, jab head cross body, double jab cross. Check it out. Boom. Jab head cross body, double jab cross. Notice the feint, but noticeable. Boom, boom, drop. Ooh, that one was slick. drop. When I hit the body shot, I drop my level just a little bit. Pop, boom, boom, pop, pop, boom, right? I drop my body just a little bit. Pop, boom, pop, pop, boom, right? So you should be dropping your weight when you hit that body shot. Pop, boom, pop, pop, boom, right? So that way your weight's going down in toward the person's, like, you know, breadbasket, stomach area, driving that punch. Boom, right? Good technique. But it should be so obvious. Okay, again, from a spot. Actual fighting perspective, it should be so obvious that you're going like up and down, like you're some kind of like pogo or something like that. It's very subtle. Matter of fact, a lot of things in boxing, kickboxing, very subtle. Okay, boom. Now step back lunge, right? So we already did this. Notice I'm adding a high knee. We got the dumbbell in place. Boom. So I'm stepping back with the right. I'm holding the dumbbell on the lower position on my right, which means the left leg is doing all the work right now. We're gonna go unilateral. Okay, so we're gonna go single-sided throughout this workout. Boom, single-sided. Step back lunge, step it back. Boom. Right, driving that knee up. Now that driving on the knee up is allowing me to work on another aspect of striking, the knee strike, but also work on my balance. Now in a minute we're gonna get back to the combo. We're gonna add a double. We're gonna add a double cross, right? This is kind of unique. You don't see that very often. Pop, 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 boom, and then pop, pop. There we go. See, making it clear. Trying not to blend too much. Pop, 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 boom, and then pop, pop. Right. So those are the two combos blended together. Two back combos blended together. All straight shots, as you might notice. Now those two crosses are ideally going to the head, right? Pop, 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 boom, boom, boom. There we go. And also, those should be harder shots, right? Most of the rest of it is set up. Boom, right? That's a hard cross. Boom, boom. And those are also two hard crosses, okay? In a second, we're going to go single leg lunge. Bam, on the left. Boom. Boom, right? So you'll see in a second, right? Boom, so that's the bell right there. Now, we're back with the dumbbell. This is a single dumbbell workout. Now, stepping back with the left, okay? And we're working the right leg, okay? Stepping back with the left. That means we're working the right leg. Boom. Boom, there we go. Boom, that's it. Holding the dumbbell position, bottom position. Oh, I should also mention this is a 25-pound dumbbell that I'm working with here. And this entire workout, I'm just working with one dumbbell. That's the beauty of this. I like simplicity. One dumbbell, okay? So that way, keep it simple. Okay, somebody walked into my shot. I don't know what she was thinking. Like, whose house is this? You know who my last name is? What are you doing? Right, get out of my shot. Okay, anyway, moving on. Back to the back. We're gonna add to our combo a leaping lead hook. Now this is fun. So now we add a little bit more explosiveness, right, to our combo. Pop, right? So we go boom, boom, pop, pop, boom. Then two hard crosses, boom, boom, and then leaping left hook right away. Notice I moved with both feet on that one. Pop, pop, boom, 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 and then boom, boom, leap, pop. There we go. Leaping left hook is a great way to cover distance, right? Whether you're on the bag or you're sparring, boom, hard sparring, light sparring. It's a combo you don't use, or I should say a technique you don't see people use very often, but because it requires a lot of skill, a lot of time. But if you're on the bag, it's a fun one to work on. That's why I added it. It's a super fun technique to work on and add. Boom. Notice I loaded that one up a little bit if we're working the bag, right? We got to practice these things if we want to be able to use it. Okay, now we're back to the dumbbell. Single arm push press. I'm on my right. Boom. Notice the miniature squat. Boom, not even a quarter squat. Boom, notice pushing through my toes. Pop to get that weight up. Pop. Now this is about reps. That's why I'm going kind of fast here. This is about reps because again, the weight isn't all that heavy, right? For most of you, 25 won't be all that heavy. So in order to get the value, squeeze the juice out of this workout, we got to get the reps. Boom. All right, push through your toes. Pow. There we go. Big explosive. Pow. Right, we just punch it up, come bring back down, and rinse, repeat. Pow. There we go. Boom. Now we're going to get back to the bag in a second. We're going to add a heavy rear body hook, right? Heavy rear body hook. Putting all this back to the bag in a second. We're going to add a heavy rear body hook, right? Heavy rear body hook. Putting all this together, right? So we got the jab head, cross body, pop, pop, boom. 2 crosses, pop, pop. Leaping hook, boom, and then boom. Another hook to the body, right? While I'm at that angle. Oh, that's sweet. Pop, 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 boom. Right? Pop, pop, leap, boom, and then kui. There we go. Boom. You imagine hitting that on somebody? Oh my gosh, that was brutal. Pop, pop, pop. Boom, brutal. I love this. I love having fun with boxing with techniques, what's possible, right? Hitting the bag, playing with different techniques allows you to kind of explore what's possible, right? One more time. We're going to get to the... Now, single arm push press on the left. Again, repping this bad boy out, right? Quarter squat, pushing through my toes, right? This is about being explosive. This isn't so much about strength. This is about being explosive and also endurance. Right? That's why the weight's light. That's why you keep your heart rate pretty high. Boom, yes, and you get to work you're exploding through your toes to create power, right? Now, even though I'm going vertically, this action, right? This workout can be applied to striking as well. It's just that obviously in striking we apply it more in a lateral position, right? We apply it more straightforward. But the main idea is being able to generate force from my toes and transfer it through my fist, through my hand. I added a freestyle session. I haven't done this in other classes here, but in other videos. But I wanted to do it here because boxing is so much fun, and I wanted to give us an opportunity to just explore now. So I'm exploring, right? Now I'm just playing. I'm playing with the different combos that I like. You might notice right here, boom, I switch. Right here, I'm southpaw, boom. Because I like to fight southpaw. I like to train orthodox when I can, at every opportunity I get. So I like to switch it, boom. But right now I'm southpaw, right? So now I'm on the bag, right? Working some straight shots, right? Working some hook shots, working some basic combinations. Nothing too crazy, but it allows me to explore, boom, freestyle, be in the moment, right? Coming up on a 1 minute water break in a second, boom, boom, my leaping, yep, framing, boom, 1 minute water break. All right, grab a swig of water. I'll see you back here in 1 second. Don't go too far. Let's get it. And we're back. That's the end of round 1. Now we're coming up boxing, round 2, and it's dumbbell boxing workout number 1. So again, I'm going to give you the rundown, but for right now, all you need to know is we're going to do jab head, cross body, hook to the head, and cross to the head. So we're going to go jab, cross, hook, cross, jab head, cross body, hook head, cross head. And I'll give you the rest as we get down, right? As we get busy, all right? So boom, back on the bag with those gloves on, bounce, ready to go, on the bell, pow, pow, right? A little bit of razzle dazzle, jab head, cross body, hook head, cross head, boom, right? Notice when I have that bounce, boom, my position is solid, right? My core is tight, right? I can move defensively whenever I want, keeping my hands up. And more importantly, there's explosiveness, there's snap on my punches, boom, because I'm punching from my toes, right? Punches originate from the toes. Matter of fact, everything we do in martial arts comes from the toes. And I say that because sometimes, a lot of times, people, they seem to move in such a way where they think it's all about the arms, or all about the hands, or even it's not even really about the hips. Like the hips are secondary, it's the feet that are primary. Feet first, then hips, then shoulders, then the fist that lands. We're talking about the punching. Boom, yeah, boom, nice. Coming back up, we're keeping the workout the same. Step back lunge, holding the weight in the right, stepping back with my right, boom, driving that knee, boom, driving that knee up at the end, working on my balance, right, working on my core tension. The other beautiful part of doing something unilaterally is that you have to focus on not allowing the weight to take you over. This is especially true when somebody's core is weaker and or when somebody's actually pretty strong, but they're going outside of their usual kind of strength comfort zone. So say for example, right now I have a 25. I'm doing this relatively easily. But if this weight that's a 25 in my hand, if this was instead, let's say 55, it'd be much harder. And you'd see me getting off balance from time to time because I'd have to work a lot harder to maintain that. Okay, back on the bag. Boom. We're gonna add a cross step pivot and then a cross hook. Boom. So we hit the bag. Pop, pop, pop. Boom. Cross step pivot and then cross hook. Boom, boom. You see our frame there, right? I love that because it's just fun, right? Boom, boom, pop, pop. Frame, boom, pop, boom, right? Can you imagine lighting somebody up? They cover up, they go high guard, so then you move, you hit them harder. Boom, 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 pop, boom. Now in a real fighting situation, the cross step pivot would probably be a lot smaller, right? And I have to come back and return a lot faster. But because we're working on the bag, we can focus on, right, making these movements a little larger so we can focus on doing it the right way and generating power, right? But we don't want to generate power in a sloppy way where we're too wide or too long. We can just work on getting the movement right. So now, back to the dumbbell. Now, stepping back with the left and driving that knee strike. You might also notice when I drive the knee strike, I'm keeping my standing foot flat. I'm doing that on purpose. I could come up on the balls of my feet and throw that knee strike like Thai style. I could do that. I could have added that. But I wanted to keep it, the workout from a show standpoint, right? From an instruction standpoint. I wanted to keep that part basic. If you're more advanced and you feel comfortable, then yeah, when you throw that knee strike with that dumbbell in your hand, then go ahead and come up on your toes. Obviously, it makes it harder, but if you're capable of that, or if you're willing to challenge yourself that way, then go ahead and get after it. But you don't have to. Okay, now we're gonna add, boom, back on the bag. This is the second drop the dumbbell. Boom, get those gloves on, right? Using those teeth. Okay, we're gonna add step pivot and then a double jab. Watch close. Pop, pop. Pop, cross step pivot with the frame, cross hook, boom, step pivot, double jab. Woohoo! Put it all together, looking like a pro. Pop, 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 boom, cross step pivot with the frame, pop, boom, step pivot, double, pop, pop. So movement when you're striking the bag should emulate to some extent, as much as possible, movement that you would use in a real fighting, sparring, street fight situation, right? So that these things are applicable. We want to train, study things that are applicable, that are useful in real situations, not just look cool, okay? Boom. And I love how smooth this is. Pop, 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 boom. Cross step, boom. Pop, pop, step pivot, pop, pop. Make sure you drop that shoulder when you cross step pivot or step pivot. Back on the dumbbell. You see how fast this goes too? Oh my god, I just love this, right? So again, single arm push press on the right. Notice I'm doing the same dumbbell workout throughout the entire workout. That keeps it simple, right? Sometimes I switch, but today on this one, I decided to keep it the same. Simple, right? And again, repping it out, pushing through the toes, quarter squat, right? Boom. This is about, I wouldn't say speed, but this is also definitely about getting in the reps. So this is more about endurance, right? This is more about endurance. Pop. Yeah, pop. I would say on the step back lunges is more about endurance too, but that's not entirely true because I want that balance. I want to challenge on that balance, right? So if you had, by the way, if you had 2 dumbbells, like a lighter dumbbell for the push press and a heavier dumbbell for the step back lunge, that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad thing. But I just wanted, again, to keep this workout as simple as possible. We got gloves, we got the bag, we got a dumbbell. Getting after it. I'm going to add a pops punch him out. Pop, boom. Pop, pop. If you don't know what pops punch him out is, you're about to learn. About to learn something. Boom, right? Pops punch him out is 3 crosses and an overhand, right? Learned that from my late great instructor, coach, Pops Walter Carvalho Sr. Boom, with the overhand. The punch him out was one of his signature moves. He had a couple of them. This was which one? Pop, 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 boom. Double jab, and then 3 crosses, and then hard overhand. Boom, overhead is ear to shoulder. Ideally knuckles down, but if you can't do knuckles down, that's okay, right? Cross, hook, step pivot, double jab, cross, 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 reload, boom! That big overhand. I should actually make the overhand a little bigger, to be honest with you. Back on the dumbbell. To be honest with you. Back on the dumbbell, right? On the left hand. Push, press, repping it out. Pow. Right, being explosive. Boom. Pushing through your toes. Boom. Also, as you push those toes, breathe out. Boom. Breathe out. Try not to lean back, right? If you get tired, I've watched people when they get really tired, they start to lean back a lot as a way to get that weight up. I'd rather you rest inside that rep, rest inside that round, than to start to lean back, because we have to always be mindful of protecting the spine. Obviously, all of our body parts, all of our joints, but the spine in particular. Also notice, I'm driving the weight straight up and straight down. When I come down, elbows inside my body line, not outside. Elbows inside my body line, keeping my shoulders straight. Or to recover from. You don't need that. So we're going to be able to get in a good workout without any silly injuries, all right? Boom, back on the bag, freestyle. Boom, this is where you ad-lib. This is where you get busy. Do your thing. Pop, pop, pop. Look at boom. I get to play with movement. Get to play with framing, right? Get to play with moving my feet. Step pivot, cross step pivot. Get to play with the short jab, long jab, body shots, okay? Boom, walking around the bag. Keeping my hands up, right? Imagining what a fight would feel like, what it would look like. Also, what's great about this, you get to kind of get into not only kind of like a really fight type feeling, imagine what this would feel like if you're in a real fight hitting the bag, but you get to sprint. You get to go boom, hard and then slow, hard and then slow. Mixing up your rhythm, mixing up your timing. Your overhand a second there, boom. Seeing how that would fold into other ways you would bring the overhand out, not just what's in the workout, okay? Now, boom, 1 minute break, grab some water, and the workout's not done, all right? Don't get it twisted. That's the end of round 2 boxing. Now I got an ab finisher, okay? You ain't done yet. Where you going? You ain't done yet. All right, so we got ab finisher. So we're going to do a couple of things with the ab. First, dumbbell sit-up press, okay? And then we're going to do a plank pull across. We're just going to do back and forth. We're going to do that basically 3 times. First the press, then the pull across 3 times, okay? Each one 40 seconds, okay? Peep the technique, right? I still got the timer on. Dumbbell sit-up press. This is round 1. Boom. Okay? Basic sit-up press. Same dumbbell. I had a 25-pounder. I told you earlier. Same dumbbell. Pressing it up. Notice I'm repping it out. This is great for building strength and rectus abdominis. Okay? Also build strength in your spine, right? Particularly your lower back. But notice also when I press up, my chest is up, right? Superhero posture. So in other words, if you press up and your back is rolled, your back is curled, that's no bueno. You either need to drop that weight down or get rid of it altogether, right? When I press the weight up, my spine is straight up. I'm looking up, right? My spine is in good posture. Okay, that's the end of that one. Super important. Now, we're going to go plank drag across. I was working the rectus abdominis. Now we're going to work the obliques, internal and external. Boom. Notice I'm pulling it across, right? Out. You could say I'm reaching internally and pulling outwardly, right? Notice I'm reaching internally, reaching in toward my body line, but pulling the weight outside my body line. Also, on the other side of my body, on the other hand, I'm keeping basically a plank, like a push-up position. I'm trying to keep my back as flat and as straight as possible. Notice my toes on a right base. This is already a difficult workout. So if I wanted to make it harder, I mentioned earlier, the base, the toes, I can make my toes more narrow. It's already difficult, so I'll make my feet wide so I can perform this exercise as successfully as possible. Great work for the obliques, right? You get dynamic with the movement of the weight, and then you also get static by just having a hold yourself in place. Back to the push press, okay? So these are kind of like two very different core workouts. One is very simple, and one is much more complex, what I would consider, right? And both are, there's a great combination because also you notice two different planes of motion, right? This would be called sagittal, right? Straight up and down, like straight up in front. And the other one is rotational, right? The other one's transverse, what they call it in the fitness game. Okay, so super important to have this concept in terms of different planes of motion that are working our body. Because a lot of times people do a workout, they do the same plane of motion, but they don't realize it. Do one. This is sagittal. A lot of people don't do frontal, and almost nobody. It's very rare you see a person doing transverse, doing rotation stuff, right? So we want to mix those things up, especially if we're talking about using combat sports. We need to mix those things up so our body's able to move in different planes of motion at any given time. Boom. So now we're back to the high plank. Pull over, pull across. Boom. Notice that flat back. Boom. Right. This is phenomenal for building strength. This is also phenomenal for what's called anti-rotation. This is big with your grappling, also in fighting too, right? But if you're grappling, if somebody's trying to move you, twist you, pull you, and you're trying to resist that, this will help you build the strength to do such. Moving you to a place that you don't want to go. Okay, boom. So this is already, look at this, killer, bro. This is already round 3 of the sit-up press. Boom, hitting it. All right, getting after it. We ain't playing around with you. Ain't nobody playing with you. Let's go. Boom. Breathing out. Boom. All right, you probably can't see it from here. The wind's on my face. That's because I'm so happy to make it in this workout. It's not because the workout's hard. What you talking about? It ain't hard for me. It's hard for you. I don't know who you talking to. Boom. Hit it. Boom. Breathing out. Boom. Yeah. Little rest there. Okay. Boom. Yeah, I got something in my eye. Don't worry about it. Boom. There we go. And about to finish with the pull across next. Boom. Right. Boom. There we go. Breathing it out. Boom. The bell finally went over. Oh my gosh. Real talk, dying by this point. Dying. But enjoying myself. Having a good time, right? Good workouts, you should feel like you're you should feel, in my opinion, like you're dying, but you're feeling it, you're enjoying it. Okay, back to our pull across. Reach underneath, reach toward the center line, right? Toward the center line, and pull across. Pull away from my center line. Reach toward the center line, pull away from the center line. Whoa, right? Phenomenal core exercise. Make sure you try this at home. And also make sure you have a surface where you're able to slide this. Like for example, this wouldn't work as well on like a rug, right? So if you have a rug at home, you might want to get a mat depending upon the service you have, right? Or you don't want to be scraping up your floors, right? Maybe you got really nice floors at the house or your garage, I don't know, whatever, right? So get yourself a surface where this works, okay? Boom, that's the end of the ab workout. So we got 2 rounds of boxing. We got a round of ab workout. Once again, we're going to get a 1 minute break. And now, lucky for you, we're going to get to do the cool down portion, okay? Grab water and come back. We ain't done yet. Let's get it. Right, now we have come to the end of the workout. Cool down round. We're going to start with the frog squat. We're going to do each movement for at least 20 seconds. I recommend 20 to 30. Any less than that, you probably won't get the best benefits, and you can do more of that if you have time. But we're going to do a series of stretches here to get the body cooled down. So first, starting with what I like to call frog squat, deep squat, sitting as deep as you can, keeping your back relatively straight. You'll find that it'll round at the bottom. That's perfectly natural, as deep as you can go. Hopefully toes out, and hopefully with your feet flat, elbows in. Breathe. If you can, push your knees outward, right, away from your center mass if possible. Okay, boom. Next. So next we're gonna go deep lunge. So on this one, you're one leg forward. I got my left leg forward, my right knee back. Feeling the stretch on both my right thigh and my left hamstring. Posture upright, driving my hips down and forward. Down and forward. Yes. Next we're gonna do sitting back on that same leg. So just in a second here, boom. As I feel this, what I call a deep lunge. Stretch on both sides. I'm gonna sit back, bam. And now I have a stretch on the hamstring, like a deep hamstring stretch. And again, we did a lot of punching and kicking in this workout. It's a phenomenal workout. So we want to stretch the hamstrings, the quads, and the calf, right? Point the toe up, even pull on the toes if you want to stretch the calf here. All right, next, we're going to go into a deep lunge on the right, all right? So in just a second here, boom, shifting and bow. Deep lunge on the right side, ka-chow, boom, okay? So again, this is all about getting the body to cool down and putting the body in a state out of the fight or flight state and in a state of rest and recovery. Okay, so we're sitting back. Next, we're going to sit back on this right leg. But again, this is super important because a lot of times the people, especially when you're young, I used to do this all the time. You hit up a hard workout, maybe you have a basic warm up, hit up a hard workout, then you maybe get some water, go home. But if you don't take the time to stretch, there's a lot of damage, muscles being torn, tendons that are being torn, not torn, but being stressed, I should say, on the body. And stretching allows you to kind of check in with your body once again and allows you to really put the body in a state of repair. Okay, so we just did a sitting back. Boom, now we're going to do the frog squat once again. Boom, frog squat. So once you do the second time, the second frog squat, you should be able to squat a little bit deeper because your hips are stretched out. So it should be a little deeper, ideally, and or at least more fun. Okay, that's the lower body. Now I'm going to do upper body, starting with child's pose. Okay, boom. So now we're in child's pose position. Arms out. Stretch out in front of you as far as you can. Face down, pushing hips back. Your butt is basically on your heels, right? This is a great stretch for the lats. Great stretch. You'll feel it in a little bit in your triceps, and and maybe a little bit in your core and your back, right? All down your spine, particularly the lats. Okay, now we're going to transition to the cobra pose, pa-chow, right? So the cobra pose is kind of like doing a hard sprawl, right? Arms going to be straight, relatively straight, pressing the hips down toward the ground, looking up as much as I can, stretching the abdomen and my hip flexors. Okay, this is the idea behind this one. Stretching the abdomen and my hip flexors is great because you did a lot of core exercise, which we did a little bit in this one. You want to stretch you want to stretch those rectus abdominis out. Now T-stretch, boom. So you hit nick a T and then you kick the leg over. Okay, so right now I'm stretching the left side. So I'm stretching the left chest, right? The shoulder, chest, pec minor, major. Right. Again, this is a great upper body stretch. There's multiple upper body stretches, but because we did so much punching and so much pushing in that direction, you want to stretch those muscles specifically. Okay, now that was on the left. Now we're gonna hit the right. Stretching on the right. Boom. So here, stretch, I kick the leg over, you notice. I kick the leg over, back behind me, so that way I can stretch that. Get a little bit of hip stretch as well. Okay, so we're doing those 4 different upper body stretches. We're going to do them all one more time, starting with, boom, the child's pose. The reason why I want to do this twice is because, again, if we have the time, I want to make sure that I've done everything I can to put my body back into a state of rest and recovery. So sitting back, arms extended, pushing my butt toward my heels, feeling those lats stretch out, feeling in probably up in my triceps, right? And feeling that relaxation. That position also should give you a sense of kind of a relaxation, calm. Boom, cobra pose, pushing hips down toward the floor. arms mostly straight, stretching out the rectus abdominis, stretching out the abs, looking up as much as I can, breathing. This is also important. All these movements, it's important to breathe deep and low. Breathe deep and low into your abdomen, okay? Not in your chest, not in your throat. Breathe deep and low into your abdomen with every single one of these stretches, okay? Now, boom, we got the T stretch again on the left. Kicking your leg over, getting a little extra help. I should say a little extra love on the hip flexor there. But primarily, we're trying to stretch the pec, okay? Boom, coming up next, we're going to stretch the right. T stretch on the right, kick it over, boom. All right, get a nice stretch on the right. Breathing, low, deep, long breaths, okay? Every one of these stretches, every one of these positions, low, deep, long breaths ideally, all right? Bringing the body back down into rest and relaxation. Boom, and that's it. Thank you for training with Thrive in this phenomenal boxing and single dumbbell workout. And for more phenomenal boxing and kickboxing workouts, make sure you go follow me on the YouTubes at Jeremy_Thrives and also on all social media channels at Jeremy D. Murphy. And lastly, keep your eyes open for the upcoming Thrive Online Kickboxing Academy. It's going to be incredible. Remember, the secret to success is 4 words. Do more, say less. Peace.